puppet looks just like this one here. So this is just a paper bag. And if you don't have a paper bag at home, don't worry about it. You can make a puppet out of anything, right? A sock. You could use a plastic bag. You could use anything to make a puppet. Well, I'm going to use a paper bag today, so if you have one around, don't worry, you don't have to go get it right now. I'm going to leave this video up so you can come back to this later and watch it again and again and again. So usually when you make a paper bag puppet, you use, obviously you use a paper bag, like a lunch bag, and you usually leave it all flat and nice, right? And you put your hand inside of there. This is good. This is a good way to make a puppet. And then this becomes the mouth, right, of the puppet, and you put the eyes on there, and it's all very square and nice. But what we're going to do today is we're going to take the paper bag and we're going to crunch it up. Because what happens when you crunch it up, it becomes much softer and more interesting. Uncrunch it, you crunch it, and then you uncrunch it. You get your hand back in there, and you try and find the spot where the mouth was, okay? It doesn't really matter too much. You just get your hand back in there and then try and make a mouth. So you just sort of shape it any way you want, right? Get rid of the corners. And then there's a mouth. And this is good enough. We could stop right here and then this is a puppet, right? But we're gonna go a little bit further. Hey, hello there. It's a little bit wiggly on your hand, right? So while the bag is still on your hand, you're going to take an elastic band, okay? And this is going to go over top of the head of the puppet, of the bag, the head of this bag, and it becomes the neck, okay? So you just sort of put it right down below where the mouth is, and it stays on better, right? Hello, how's it going? You could just draw on that with markers if you want, but I'm going to use construction paper to make some of the details. So this is just blackish, grayish construction paper, and I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to make a mouth. I'm going to get my glue stick, and if you have a low temp glue gun, I don't have one right now, but that works well too. Just make sure you're safe and get some help with it. But glue stick works too. It's just you have to wait longer, and it doesn't hold as strongly if you use a glue stick. So when you're doing this, put lots of glue on there. Lots of glue. Don't be shy with the glue. Put lots on there because it will stay that much better. All over the back of that circle that I made, I put glue. There we go. That's the inside of the mouth. Okay? So now, let's finish the mouth. While we're on the mouth, let's finish it. So you can look at the one I made before, and inside of its mouth, teeth, right? And there's a tongue in there. And what I used to make the teeth were just circle stickers that you can get at the dollar store, but you don't need those. We're going to do a different way today. We're just going to use card, piece of or white paper or whatever, and I'm going to cut. This is one of my old business cards. I'm going to cut it into little squares. Put a little bit of glue on the back and stick them in the mouth. I'm just going to do 2 teeth on this guy. You see my teeth? Right? Then make a tongue and get rid of these teeth, right? If you don't have construction paper around, look around the house. I'm sure there's some. You could use printer paper. Ask first. Don't just take all the printer paper out of the printer. Ask first. And then color it. You could color printer paper and use your markers. Make it into pink paper or red or whatever. This is going to be the tongue. So I'm just going to make a circle. A circle is good enough for a tongue, right? It doesn't have to be exact. Just do whatever you want. Make it so it fits in the mouth. There we go. There. And there's the tongue. See my tongue? Alright. Now let's go and make the eyes. Again, I'm going to use these old business cards today, but notice I'm using scissors that are safety scissors because I don't want to cut myself. To make 2 eyes that are exactly the same size, but that doesn't matter if you want them to be the same size. Fold it in half and cut it all at the same time. You cut 2 eyes at once. But sometimes it's good to make your eyes 2 different sizes, right? Because then your puppet looks way, way more interesting. Use a marker. When I do eyes, I never put the pupils in the middle I never put the black part right in the middle of the eyes. I put it a little bit outside of a little bit towards the edge. Okay, you see that? I didn't do the black dot right in the middle of the white circle. I did it just towards the edge. And that's because when you make the eyes, put them together, you want the two black dots to be a little bit close to each other. And it makes your puppet look more realistic. And put the puppet on your hand. Find out where you want the eyes to be. Take a look at it. Consider it. Look at it. And glue the eyes on there. And glue them so that the pupils, the black dots, are a little bit close to the middle of the nose, where the nose is going to be, okay? So let me show you what I did. See that? See, look, take a good look at that. The eyes, there's a lot of white around the outside. And the black dots are closer to the middle. That's really important. Makes it look, the eyes look focused. Hey, nice to see you guys. There's the eyes, done. So, now we're going to do a nose. Everybody knows the best thing to make a nose out of is a pom-pom. If you don't have pom-poms around, who cares? You could cut a nose out of construction paper. You could use a cotton ball and you could color it with your markers. And that could be a nose. Anything you can find around that's light enough and nose-looking enough. Pretty good. I thought everything was going to fall off because of this glue stick, but it's not. Okay, so there you go. Hair. You don't have to do hair, but if you want to do hair, like I did on this one, what I used to make this guy's hair is just like a scrunchie, you know, from the dollar store. It's like a scrunchie that someone might use to put their hair into a ponytail and make it look like they have like a black, attractive, nice looking black thing sitting right on the end of the beginning of their ponytail. Or you could stick it right onto the puppet, right, and make hair out of that. Now if you don't have one of these, don't worry about it. You can use anything. You can leave no hair on the puppet, that's fine. You can cut hair. Here, look, I'm going to make a hairstyle for this puppet using construction paper. Okay, so look, I'm just going to cut a little square. This is a rectangle of black or whatever color hair you want, construction paper. And then I fold it in half. And then I'm going to cut, not all the way, and then I'm cutting down from the top. Okay, so I'm cutting, I don't know if you can see that. But anyways, I'm just cutting down and not cutting right through so that you got lots of hair. Okay? And then sort of wrinkle it up, crush it up, right? So use your imagination. That's my point. Even if you can't really see what I'm doing here, just if you don't have the exact things around that I have or whatever, just use your imagination and find things that will work. So I'm going to glue that onto his head. And there you go. That looks pretty good. I actually like that better than the other kind of hair. Hey, nice hairstyle I've got here. It wiggles. It wiggles nicely when he moves around. Let's do some arms. You can make arms. You can make little pieces of clothing, like the one I made has a bow tie. The one I made ahead of time. But this guy today, we're gonna make instead of a bow tie. Well, let's do the arms first. Let's do the arms. Pick a color. Stop me. Stop me. When you get to a color that you like. This guy's gonna have purple arms and he's gonna have yellow clothing. Okay? And again, if you don't have construction paper, it doesn't have to be construction paper. There's always paper around, so find some kind of paper to use. Ask first. When I do arms, I draw them first, usually, and I cut them out after. That way I know what I'm doing. But sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just cut, see what comes out. But today I'm going to draw. I feel like drawing today, so I'm going to draw some arms and hands. Don't worry about it too much. make the hands messy if you want. Who cares, right? It's just a puppet. And the good thing about this is if you mess it up, you just do it again. So there, I drew out an arm, and I folded this paper in half so that I don't have to cut twice. I'm gonna cut 4 arms, so that for a future puppet, I'll have some extra arms around, right? So what I did there, cut 4 arms, is I folded this piece of paper into 4. And that way when I cut this one, I'll get 4 extra arms. Or maybe my puppet's gonna have 4 arms, who knows? Maybe 2 of the arms that I don't use will be his feet. Look at this, I'm gonna cut them out and decide after. So I'm cutting out around the shape that I just drew. Doesn't have to be good, it doesn't have to be neat or anything. It can be messy. Messy is better sometimes, messy and mistakes. Good, because then you get something that you weren't planning on, right? You get a surprise. And sometimes a surprise is better than whatever you thought your puppet was going to look like in the first place. That make sense? I don't know. Okay, there we go. There's the arm. Looks like 1 arm, right? But it's not. It's 2. What? Oh, but is it just 2? No, it's 4 arms. Look at that. And then I'm just going to cut them or rip them. 4 arms. And I'm going to glue them on. That's easy. You just glue them onto the sides. Wherever. It doesn't have to be the side. It could be on his head, right? You can glue them anywhere. But I'm going to put these on the sides. Glue goes onto just the very base of the arm. Glue that on. Stick it on. The other one on the other side. Alright. There we go. And as I suggested, I'm going to do his feet. I love that idea. I'm going to use the other 2 extra arms that I made, because these hands that I made kind of look like feet. So I'm going to glue them on the bottom. Oh, I should mention this too. Sometimes it's good to use a stapler. If you're allowed to use a stapler and it's safe, ask first. Staple those on and it'll hold on better too. Can't staple everything on this puppet, but it's too hard to get stapler in. But there, look at that. Oh good, I have arms now and feet, and my feet are exactly the same as my arms. How cool! That's cool. All right, and then folding those arms out a bit so they stay out a little bit. You see? I dance. I dance. He dances. All right, that's good enough. But since we said we'd do it, let's make a little bit of clothing for this puppet. So I think what I'm gonna do on this one is make, instead of a bow tie, not a bow tie, but a necktie like this guy has. Necktie. I'm gonna do a bow, like a bow, like a piece of string tied around and a decorative neck arrangement. So I'm not even gonna draw it. I'm gonna just cut it. And so let's make extra one for the future. Folding, don't waste paper too, right? If you do it this way, extra one. So I folded the piece of paper in half, and then in half again, so it's in 4. And I'm gonna cut what I think a bow might look like. It's pretty good. That's a bow. I don't know if you can see that. Put it in front of. I have an extra one for the future. And now I'm gonna put some glue on that right in the middle, like that. I'm gonna put this puppet back on my hand, and then I'm gonna glue this on there. Yellow wasn't a great choice because yellow doesn't show up that well in the paper bag. I would have used orange or something brighter if I was doing this again, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, mistakes are good. It's fine, it looks good. Hey, do you like my bow? Good, all right. Now, there you go. That's it. You've made a puppet out of a paper bag, a wrinkly paper bag.